Back in 1998, Apple was doing pretty poor, producing beige boxes running an increasingly more unstable OS on an exclusive architecture. What they released that year would change their course in history from being nearly bankrupt to being on top of portable devices. This is what kickstarted them into profitability. Ah yes, the iMac G3. First released in 1998 and discontinued in 2003, the G3 went through many different variations and versions over the course of its life. It was one of the first computers released with USB, which is awesome today. However, because it just had a CD drive, it was quite controversial. So if you thought Apple removing something important for the time is new, it ain't. The version pictured here is a 400 MHz Blueberry DV unit from 1999. I have poured in upgrades like a Wi-Fi card and a huge 1 gig of RAM. The graphics chip is an ATI Rage 128 VR, which can render 3D games, but it has a piddly 8 megabytes of VRAM. So no, you ain't running Crysis on this guy. However, I bet most of you are here to see what you can do with a 23-year-old computer. Okay, now let's be real. There isn't much you can do in terms of gaming on this guy, but it isn't unable to game. Minecraft, yes, that's right, Minecraft, at least the version that last supported the PowerPC architecture, ran at 2 FPS. 2 FPS. So you are definitely not playing any games that are even remotely modern on this thing. Quake 3 Arena ran fine enough that I was able to be defeated by the computer because of the awful hockey puck mouse. A 2D game, such as Pocket Tanks, works fine, however, and is perfectly playable. Another 3D game not playable is a childhood favorite, 4x4 EVO2. It tends to not want to load into races, and it runs at what feels like, honestly, 3 to 5 FPS. However, not all is lost, as I also tested the original Fallout and SimCity 3000. And both run, and the image quality for both games is fine, even though I don't know how to play Fallout. Now, if you were thinking you could just hop on YouTube and start watching a YouTube video, then you can leave now, as heavy modern websites won't load on the most up-to-date browser for the G3, which is 10.4 Fox. However, you can still use Reddit completely fine, it will just load very slowly. And very surprisingly, Facebook loads fine and is perfectly usable. It just looks like it's from 2006. eBay loads, but runs very slowly. And Amazon loads, and also runs pretty slowly. So as long as you don't watch YouTube, you'll have a semi-usable time, if you are patient. So, in terms of upgradability, this G3 has none. It's part of the problem with all-in-ones, but this G3 is worse, as after the first generation G3, the CPU was no longer swappable. I have the RAM maxed out and the Wi-Fi card in it, so that's it, really. It runs macOS 10.4 Tiger, which is the highest it can go. Basic word processing and basic photo editing will work perfectly fine, but you won't be editing videos on this thing due to its very low performance. Web apps won't work well, if at all, so you are generally quite limited with what you can do in the modern world on this thing. So, the iMac G3. Wonderful back in the day and seriously influential for future devices to not be beige, which I personally find really nice. Classic Mac gaming is about all you can do with this thing. However, I do use it for music to sync to my third generation iPod. So, that's it really. Make sure to check out my Patreon where videos on this channel will go up 24 hours early. And I might even post some bloopers from the editing process or other random bits. Anyways, DDT out.